Doesn't take an engineer to hazard a guess whose ship that is. DeVries is here, Commander. Sure of it. This must be the satellite that sent an emergency ping across the system. What led me to you, Commander? But why is DeVries hanging on to it?
Never seen an orbital device like that before.
Good evening. On behalf of everyone in Auntie's family, I want to thank our hosts for securing this wonderfully austere venue to begin our negotiations for peace. With tensions being patched in Golden Ridge, I am certain we can both profit from a merger. But surely the good Vicar Laureate and his fellow shareholders have some thoughts?
Madam Vice President, I and my fellow counselors remind you that this is no merger, but an alliance. By ending the war, we may focus on the true threat to our society, the rifts.
Dead end. Need to find another way through. Wouldn't do to get trapped here.
It's you, is it not? The one Agent DeVries warned me to expect? Well, see, I certainly...
You can answer our questions now?
You'll do, and even if by some low chance, that matters not. He lost his grit and turned traitor. But I am steadfast in my resolve. You hear me? Steadfast. I was warned, but it doesn't matter what you do. The rest of... But why would you leave me be? This situation is markedly different. Those at the monastery were not standing in your path. How can you say that? Fine then. They're using this. You'll also need this. That's my end of...
No time to waste. Let's have a look at those plans. Just imagine the hustle and bustle of this place in its heyday. Shame it's all going to scrap.
sovereign is regarded as...
I'm no electrician, but I'll wager this gadget is missing a what's-it. Crucial part, really.
The Protectorate's own leader is beyond his depth. He and his ilk won't anticipate an alliance.
He's not sovereign.
Yes, right. Well, landing a strike against the Protectorate in this state will be something like wrangling a galloping breadworm.
I am unfamiliar, but I presume that to mean it will be without exertion. If so, then you are perhaps even more ignorant of Arcadia than I calculated. The Sovereign, guide him, is as ineffective as you suggested, but his advisor, the Consul, is not. These executions, these impulsive attacks, are solely his influence.
Solely? Your previous sovereign was rather draconian himself, if your own history looks are to be believed. Do not act like the current rot emerged from nowhere.
I could perhaps say the same for you and your reputation for putting profits over people. But instead, I suggest we pivot our discussion back to the real matter at hand.
DeVries' team must have gotten to these mechs first. I don't favor fighting on two fronts, but it's not looking like we have another choice.
Confirmed.
Ready to waste it. On your command.
Open. I'm alive. Who needs to die? Look sharp.
After some quick mental calculations, I do see merit in your last declaration. It was astonishingly logical, in fact.
How charming that I've surprised an esteemed man such as yourself. In turn, I wish to thank you for toning down your bloviating. I feared we'd still be here next fiscal quarter.
Yes, you must be quite busy between product launches and counting bits. But I will be here as long as it takes to ensure the order isn't taken advantage of by duplicitous actors.
our attentions once more to Golden Ridge. I am grateful we could come to an accord after that unfortunate attack on Outpost Opportunity. But more questions remain.
Of course. Allow me to offer this bit of data, then. The true culprit of the attack was a proctor named Svoboda. My brave colleagues found her out and promptly executed her.
Ah, so the Order is capable of decisive action. I had sense after hearing about your monastery. Even though the hostages yet live, this crime happened...
I would remind you that these innocents survived because of our quick and accurate analysis of the situation. I do not appreciate insinuations that we allow chaos to run rampant on our watch. Chances are high that any erratic variable is a result of your people's meddling in our affairs.
Ridiculous. Next you'll be claiming we're to blame for all of your past failures. Why, the mere prediction of our arrival years ago sent you into a tizzy.
I'd like to discuss your efforts on Paradise Island. We may have no physical presence there, but we are ever watchful. Our observations suggest that matters have been delicate.
Yes, but things have taken somewhat of a turn. After the Protectorate destroyed their own people down its madness, we have seen little resistance to our residents.
Well, we welcome the news of your advances. However, it is worrisome that it took the assistance of a freelancer for you to finally secure your hold. Worrisome indeed. According to my analysis, neither of our parties has enough goodwill with the other to proceed directly to an alliance. A swift end to the war is highly improbable.
You had to run a quaint predictive model to come to that conclusion? Did your numbers give any insight into making this more worth my while?
This unit welcomes you to my records do not indicate that any authorized personnel remain aboard. Praise be...
Let's have a look around. See if there's anything that will help us create more mayhem. knuckles raised. There's an ambush coming. Oh, I love a good ambush.
Further down. The next checkpoint. Strike through. I see you. Balance, I can't wait. Don't move.
You need a distraction.
Get rid of it. Sprite. Account for your logical fallacies.
Unfriendly company. Feels off.
Finding...
We're almost through here. Nothing left but to take the list of debris.
We came here in good faith to offer a merger and an alliance, and yet our parties will still be at each other's throats by the end of this. Is this really what you want?
It'd be foolish to even consider an alliance when you so clearly wish to bend Arcadia to Auntie's will. Should the fighting intensify, and it shall, it will be due to your pride. Presiding Bishop Ruth Bassar already possesses the necessary to lead a colony and better its people. Until you acknowledge this, I fear we will never reach an accord.
Foresight pales in comparison to action. We acquired Fairfield from the Protectorate, you recall? This was a decisive victory over a strategic location which promises high returns.
So you think your people should rule? Shall I remind you that you failed to gain ground or even take the Vox relay yourself? Arcadian matters are best suited for Arcadians. We actively collect data to understand how to serve our people, after all. Look no further than the abbot, who welcomed refugees to Matriarch's mercy.
Yet he struggled to feed and house them properly. The poor man was clearly overwhelmed if he couldn't see his right hand was actively undermining him. Even
Where's their security detail? It's like they're asking to be killed. Amateurs.
The crisis it helped create. My projections may be accurate. You are more interested in what you can steal.
Dear Vicar, you are not yourself. Perhaps Auntie and your bishop should continue these talks. We'd be happy hosts. We do enjoy dazzling guests with a tour of our stolen artifacts.
There is only a 14% chance that you are jesting. No. If anyone in Arcadia is fit to host such discussions, it is presiding Bishop Bassar. Anyone else would be an insult.
You have a nasty habit of arriving at the wrong time, Commander.
It's over, Augustine. Nowhere left to run. No more lies you can peddle or people you can burn. Your rewards come due.
Ibarra, I was unaware of your survival until recently. Believe it or not, I was happy you survived. But to see you still seeking solace in the Commander's ship, you could have done anything with your life. Shrugged off the bad memories. But now you're both here to meddle. Law knows why. Yes, I do recall your begging me not to do this. I've no interest in continuing this little reunion. What happened in Horizon Point, well, these delegates you came to save, I'm killing them both, and any hope for peace will die along with them. This is the only way if we hope to close the rifts before it's too late. Everything The Order is on the verge of learning how to control the rifts. They just need the right data, and a prototype modulator that's hidden away in a protectorate lab. But like the protectorate before them, Auntie's Choice must never have access to that technology. No. The Order's seers approached me after I arrived in Arcadia, and proved to me that I needed to act, to stop the protect. You were an unwelcome variable. Prior knowledge could have. I tried to put it out, and I forced myself to complete it. I trusted that with Horizon Point's destruction, humanity might be saved, but it wasn't. It was only the start. I must finish what I started. As I said, your actions were part of the prediction but what happened there? You recall what I said of the rift? You know who these corporatists. The Order must not.
Enough! I've got all the answers on.
You think you have it in you?
Had 10 years. Give the order, Commander. How many times do you need a snake to bite you to realize its nature? You're wrestling fire here.
It doesn't matter. Nothing you can say to me will change the issue at hand. If I'm to give the Order the means to close the 2 dead delegates, that's a fair price to pay. Is that so? Please then, enlighten me on how you might save the Order from itself. The fact that they're even entertaining a partnership with a void-damned corporation puts the lie to that. But even if this mission is all I have. So if you... Savannah. I was never a good friend to her, even when she was all I had. Sometimes I thought her of... No, it doesn't matter. You should hate me for what I've done to you, to your crew. You can't possibly wish for me to live. Do you actually? I want nothing more than that, but I just didn't understand there was another path I could take. Not until this moment. I see now that my judgment has been compromised. So we will do this your way. No harm will come to the delegates, and I will stand down. But there's more. I've recovered a cartridge from the Earth Directorate satellite I brought down. If you process this data, you can use it to improve the prototype rift modulator on Praetor. Once that's finished, the rifts can finally be closed. Everyone will be saved. That's kind. There's also a high priority message from the It may be 3 years old, but... Wait, what in the void is that?
Not gonna hold up against that rift for long. We need to get back to the incognito now.
Follow me, quick!
This is an urgent message for all Earth Directorate agents. The spatial rift situation has deteriorated. The rifts threatening a majority of our colonies and our Earth Directorate. You have at most a matter of months before everything in your local system is destroyed. You are fully authorized to do everything in your power. Analyze this data.
Acknowledging receipt of emergency mission parameters update, including activation of Directive Alpha Omega. Commander is now released from any and all agent guidelines. The full parameter. The agent has full authority to handle the mission in any manner they see fit. I have all the survey acquisition. You are also tasked with finding a way to process the Earth Director aid. Both coincident. It seems they feel they owe you. Returning to mission objectives. Do you have a preference for which to pursue first, Commander? It is. You have also received a message from Auntie's Choice. Greetings, morally gray potential report. It appears you now have permission to...
Commander Bird, what happened back there? We had her cornered, bullets chambered, justice within... What am I supposed to do with that? How am I supposed to trust you the next time a tough choice has to be made? Maybe if we ended her, like we planned, I could do that. But she's still out there, doing Lord knows what. Plotting, most like. That's real. I'm gonna need to... Short-range transmission just came. He's requesting we meet him at the tomb of the Matriarch, here on Praetor. It's where the Matriarch and First Sovereign are buried, supposedly. Zeb left out the mission parameters. He did say he'd reach out to us again if he needed help. Much obliged.
Structure in the distance is the Interstitial Reconfiguration Center. I mean, I'd assume it is. Looks like a Rift experimental facility type place, right?
Protectorate control of Praetor has largely been achieved through the maintenance of the blockades. A survey of Praetor indicates there may be an alternate route past the blockade via the Automech factory.
Resorting to violence.
Restore my life or avenge my death!
I'm alive. Who needs to die?
Proceeding to attack.
Restore my life or avenge my death! Medic!
Thank you.
I'm alive. Who needs to die?
Reviving me is strategically optimal. Mobilizing.
To shoot the enemy!
I'm alive.
Investigating hot.
Well, of all the improbable sights I'd never imagined to actually see, folks simply wandering around them, I've not the mind to solve the equation that demonstrates how unlikely it is you've survived enemy combatants. Hostile. The grounding station was... They also used the station for a number... Nevertheless, the exemplar is in need of help to complete his research, and he is in the lab atop... There is a trail, and...
Saving the delegates from DeVries took considerable effort, dear. Of course you could, but you didn't. They still might have a role to play if we're to close the rifts. May all...
Oh there. Approach the gate and identify yourself if you're looking for access. Need to exit the station.
Greetings. Could you be a freelancer? A gun for hire? Oh, this is so In that case, if you succeed... You've returned. Are the rapid... We shall be here.
Either restore my life or avenge my death!
I'm alive. Who needs to die?
Not getting through that. Better find some way around.
Artillery incoming! Get down!
Ratcheting up my aggression. Proceeding to attack. Vitals are in the red, Commander.
Either restore my life or avenge my death! I'm alive. Who needs to die? To restore my life or avenge my death! I'm alive. Who needs to die? Impressive for a lightning rod. Keeps us from being fried while on Praetor, so that's something.
Restore my life or avenge my death!
Suture me up. It will improve your odds.
I'm alive. Who needs to die?
not clear what that roar signified, but whatever issued it sounds fierce.
I'm begging, Marisol. Just one little tidbit, anything. What you know about killing could probably fill several volumes.
And their appendices, all neatly sourced with footnotes and cross-referenced. But I'll spare you all that reading with this one piece of advice. You expend too much energy posturing. Less is more when it comes to killing. And there are much more efficient ways to remove someone from the equation.
Yeah, but reading from a house is entertaining.
You would be surprised. I once eliminated a lab archivist just by secretly replacing all his bases with acids. I assure you his death was most diverting.
told you before, we need to wait for Niles. Your arrival could not be more timely. After the events of Paradise Island, I could think of no one more suited to conduct a surgical strike. I don't see Niles with you. Did he not listen to the whole of my message? I asked for him specifically. I disagree with that assessment.
You should speak with Zebulon.
We have nothing more to discuss without Niles present. Hurry and fetch him.
Set course for Arcadia. In my new colony, we will abandon the illness of corporatism. None will suffer. Suffer for the pleasure of unseen over. overlords, and all will thrive. Everything in accordance with the grand paradigm. I now present to you my new invention, the skip drive. A revolutionary technology that will allow humanity to sojourn to the stars.
Only a singular mind could have conceived of such advanced technology.
It is my deepest wish to entrust the skip drive to those brave visionaries willing to follow me into a most prosperous future.
Yes, so wise Major. Lead us into this future you have envisioned.
Mobilizing.
I would not refuse medical support.
Have the matriarch taken from us before her time?
Actually, the matriarch passed the impressive and venerable age of 90, establishing Arcadia's precedent for longevity.
90? So young! Imagine what glorious invention she could have conceived of with only a handful more years.
Investigating hostile intentions. Medic, please!
Let this accord between the Protectorate and the Order of the Ascendant mark the moment of Arcadia's true
Beloved matriarch, you are nearer to perfection as anyone living could ever achieve. It will be the honor of the Order to serve as the Protectorate's scientific helpmates.
all that I do for my subjects and their descendants. Gloria Arcadia!
Gloria Arcadia!
For my next gift, I bestow upon you the pinnacle of automechanical design, far superior to all automechanicals that came before. The time has spent in non-manual labor may now be spent in harmonious community with your neighbor, and with humble thanks to the Protectorate. May art and science flourish these many hours, which I have returned to you.
Warning, power at 13%. Power cell has been partially depleted due to inaction.
nothing more to discuss without Niles present. We have nothing more to discuss without Niles present. Hurry in. We have nothing more to discuss without Niles present. Hurry and fetch him. We have nothing more to discuss without Niles present. Hurry and fetch him.
Reviving me is in everyone's best interest.
I'm alive. Who needs to die?
We have nothing more to discuss without Niles present. Hurry and fetch him. Back. And you've brought...
Gotta say you had me worried. The message you sent sounded serious.
Then I composed it accurately. To the task at hand. We are standing before the tomb of the matriarch. Few are invited to tour its halls, and even fewer know of its greatest secret. For any subject, visiting the matriarch and First Sovereign's resting place is the pinnacle of empty social achievement. The intelligence my friends risked all... Who knows what technologies the Protectorate is withholding? If the matriarch was the genius she is purported to be, the skip drive cannot be the entirety of her inventions. Whatever technological advancements may be sequestered here, but not for much longer. We are going to liberate any and all of the matriarch's research, whatever it may be. Reaching the vault will be... We must first gain entry to the security room, however. Once there, I should be able to access more information about...
I can see a half-dozen points of failure, but bad odds...
Glad we're operating. We're unlikely to have another chance like this. We must follow through now that we've made the opening. Which also means, once inside, we cannot leave until it's done. After you. Stay close and keep silent. The less attention we draw, the better. Well, I see you already made the rounds. Perfect. Let's continue then. Should be a hidden entrance here. There. We can access the lower level now. The security room that we need to reach is nearby. Should be able to disable that energy barrier from there.
Who goes? No one is allowed in here without the proper authorization. Ah, I see you have come armed. Intruders, then.
Damn, the head curator. I had hoped to slip in before his shift, but no matter. We cannot allow him to leave and raise the alarm. He must be dispatched, quickly.
How's that now?
Now hold on. I know we had to kill that fella with the Sentinel, but this man's unarmed. He's already surrendered.
I rather think that line has some...
How much of a fuss could this one fella cause, really?
Please, if secrecy's your concern...
Allowing him to leave would be a grave error of mercy, one we can ill afford in this place.
Yes, right. I have a family. Well, no, not as yet, but one day. I swear, on my love of the Sovereign, let me leave and I will breathe.
Do not allow these crabbled tears to fool you. This is all a performance. No true subject of the Protectorate would yield. This man is an instrument of empire, perpetuating the tyrant's lies. And were our positions reversed, he would not hesitate to
I'm kin to the risk.
Are you? Can you eat? My sister was made into a shadow. I endured daily sessions with the lathe of particularity and still find myself policing my own mind for untoward proclivities and inclinations.
The commander's right. This man didn't put you in the lathe, Zeb. He's just
I never have possessed him. Fine, you're free to leave.
You are merciful and wise. I will depart at once.
Let's hope the consequences of this decision do not assert themselves while we're still here. You and Niall should turn off the power to the security barrier.
No going back from here. Not until we've done what we came here to.
Hold! Don't set foot in that room. The schematics on this console indicate this place is defended by all manner of traps. One moment. Yes. It appears there are Emery tripwires, invisible to the naked eye, that will electrify the floors if crossed. Move cautiously. And if you have any gadgets that might help, I suggest using them.
Near drop's not a good look, Commander. Try and get your guts on the inside, Commander.
spite of substantial efforts to prolong his life, my father's condition continues to deteriorate, both physically and mentally. It has been difficult to observe. His latest effort would see him entombed within an automechanical body. I objected, of course, to my father becoming some chimera of machine and man, but was overruled. Now the Order informs me that, far from being a panacea, this attempt has exacted a toll on my father that is likely to finish what time and disease have already begun. I may soon be sovereign. And if that bears out, I will need to hide all of this. Burn all of my father's research into longevity. Seal his auto-mech body away at the factory. What grief I will inherit. What mess.
Over here, Commander. Reckon I found something that might be useful later.
Uh-oh, Commander.
Have a look, Commander. With a little elbow grease and some inadvisable engineering, reckon I can finagle these components into a fine who knows? Could come in handy. We're breaking into a vault. Let's keep on.
We've made it through. Good. Now there should be 3 switches in this room. When pulled in the correct order. Damn it! You turned me on.
Guns, stop!
I'm alive. Who needs to die?
Perhaps that'll be useful. The code I originally defined can still be relied upon. 1, 3, 2. Wrong again. The code is 1, 3, 2. Again. The code is 1, 3, 2. Wrong again. The code is 1, 3, 2. Wrong again. The code is 1, 3, 2. We're not overly impeded by this puzzle, but I apologize for my lack of preparedness.
Does that seem a little off to you, Commander? In all fairness, he tried to help. I don't think he's aiming to get us killed exactly, but I wouldn't place bits. That business with the curator. I'm glad Zeb stood down, but it was close. I know you're right. Suppose part of me still, well...
That vault door is quite the obstruction. Fortunately, there should be a code. No. Fuck! They changed it recently. That shouldn't have happened until next week. I'm certain I can diagnose the issue. Now that you've cleared the way, I'll come down and join you.
I might have something else that can get you into that vault, Commander. Remember those components I found? I was able to turn them into something halfway useful after all. This gel should get us through that vault door. You take the honors, Commander.
Not. I was hoping for a more subtle incursion, but no matter.
Am I running hot, or was that a hint of worry I heard in your voice back there?
Alas, I neglected to pack a thermometer. This terminal should allow me to retrieve all the information stored here. This cannot be right. There's nothing here save the designs for the skip drive. Stop that at once!
Quit fooling around, Commander. You let off one more bullet at Zed, and you're gonna get 10 coming back at you.
Aggressor at hand.
Twice is 10. I won't hesitate to defend myself.
That vault door is quite the obstruction. Fortunately, there should be a code. No. Fuck! They changed it recently. That shouldn't have happened until next week. I'm certain I can diagnose the issue. Now that you've cleared the way, I'll come down and join you.
I might have something else that can get you into that. Remember those components I found?
Not. I was hoping for a more subtle incursion, but no matter.
Am I running hot, or was that a hint of worry I heard?
We must hold our principles
voice
dear.
back there.
Alas,
I fear the longer this war continues, the further we
this terminal should allow me to retrieve all the information stored
Every
here.
step we take must honor the matriarch. I tell Henry this, but he is set in his ways.
This cannot be right. There's nothing here save the designs for the skip drive. Not even initial concepts. 10 years in Arcadia and the matriarch invented nothing? And what's this about a deal with the Earth Directorate? We need to talk. Now. I knew the Protectorate festered with lies, but I had no idea the Earth Directorate was complicit. Niles, did you know?
Slow up, Zeb. What do you...
It says your agency struck an agreement with the Matriarch in exchange for skip drives. Arcadia was allowed to completely govern itself with absolutely...
Must be why the chief said we'd be on our own if we were caught.
If this information is true, then the Earth Directorate permitted the Matriarch to create a colony. Everything Arcadia is, all of the suffering that's taken place here, it all could have been avoided. That's just another story those in power tell to keep the rest... Don't you understand? Something has...
Let's say you're...
I confess. The problems of that time are for greater minds than mine. There's more. Our dear matron. I thought I might find some technological precise... The saw erstwhile. Giving the skip drive designs to the Protectorate.
Downside, not to mention...
As for the Earth Directorate, don't you see? This...
It's worth holding the Earth Directorate's feet to the fire for this deal, but... I don't think the entire organization should be judged by its worst decision. Plus, making the skip drive tech available... That's like throwing a lit...
Do you think the Protectorates stand around debating the potential for injury? No. They act, and so must we. Damn the consequences. And should I refuse to leave empty-handed? What then?
I know you're aiming to do the most good for the most amount of people, Zeb, but sowing chaos...
Do you know how many of my friends died so we could reach this point? And you would have me what? Give up now on the cusp of victory? Lay bare my throat for the Protectorate machine to cut?
You remember what we argued about the day before I left?
I've replayed it in my mind many times.
A lot's changed, but that hasn't. Life in Arcadia could be just like we dreamed it. But there's no future if you go through with this.
Out of respect for my friend, I will forestall the release of this information and seek another avenue to help liberate the people of Arcadia. I'll remain here for a while longer to cover our tracks. The Protectorate will discover the break-in, but hopefully never learn more
Guess this is goodbye?
Only for now. If we both come out of this war intact, I'll find you.
I want to talk it over with the commander, but...
They are! These are the ruffians who threatened me!
Get to work, and I'll
See
take
that
care
they
of them,
join
Commander.
their friends in trouble here. Suffer none of these defilers